Hello! So today we're going to be doing the look you see on my face right now. Very dramatic, very bold. I've got my braid in honor of Prudence, one of the characters from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is what inspired this makeup look. I just started watching it yesterday and I've continued to watch it since I started watching it. It's really creepy, but ridiculously good. So we have a very matte, smoky, dark, intense look going on, as you can see. Just all about the drama. And yes, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. It's inspired by the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, in particular the character called Prudence. I'll talk about her a little bit more in the video when I'm talking in excess about the eye shape that I'm trying to create. But yeah, I hope you like this tutorial, and let's go ahead and get into it. Okie dokie! So to start off this intense look, first we are just going to prime the face. I'm going to go in with the Tatcha The Silk Canvas. It is expensive, but it is currently my primer of choice. I just think it works really well. It's not necessarily drying or mattifying or oil control. I just think it's kind of a more skin but better. But yeah. So just gonna start off by priming the face and dropping stuff on the ground. Okay, and now that we have got the face primed, rubbed all of that in, we are going to go ahead and start the eyes. We're going to be doing a very intense, smoky, awesome eye. So, as I said, this look is inspired by The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I started watching last night and then got no sleep because then I went down the rabbit hole of like, this is really good, and I just wanted to keep watching more. But the aesthetics of the show are like absolutely ridiculously amazing, and all of the characters have like a very own kind of unique look to them. There's this one character in particular called Prudence. She's part of the Weird Sisters, and she's like their head leader, and her eye makeup is just phenomenal. She's always got this very like, it's like a wing where the eyeshadow comes up and then kind of swoops in, where it almost looks like a cut crease, but it's like soft and blurred. It's not like the dramatic cut creases you see a lot. So it like comes up, swoops in, but it has like a softness to the edge right here. And that's like, that's the look. Also, the actress who plays her is like gorgeous, amazing, beautiful bone structure to the gods and everything. So I do not look anything like her. I'll put up a picture of what she looks like and the makeup. But, her lid space and everything is different, so I'm going to adjust this makeup for my face, which is what you always have to do when you're doing makeup, adjust it to the face you're doing it on. But essentially what the look is going to do is we're going to be creating a very dramatic cat eye effect. And probably the biggest thing for me is that this part of my eye right here, especially since like my eyebrows kind of come down a little bit, I don't have as much space. So for her eye look, it kind of goes up and then it'll swoop down more to create like this shape, if that makes sense. And for me, we're gonna have to switch the angle a little bit. So bear that in mind. If you have more lid space than I do, more lid space to play around with, you can definitely keep the look kind of more true to how she looks. Just play around with it. Let's go ahead and get started on the eyes. Since it is dramatic and it's like blacks and grays that I'm going in with, I'm actually going to go in with an eye primer. This is the Smashbox 24 Hour, and it's great. I keep saying this. I want to buy the P. Louise one because I've heard so many good things about it, and I am a fan that I think actually using a primer for your eyes is better than using a concealer or whatnot. I just do. I'll use concealer if I'm doing like a really simple makeup look. The reason I will do that is because if I'm doing like a simple makeup look, I don't care really about how like the intensity of the eyeshadow or whatnot. But an intense look requires actual eyeshadow primer in my eyes. But yeah, I want to get the P. Louise one because it has a base and this is clear and I have really veiny eyes, but all things considered, if that's what I have to complain about in the world, I'm doing pretty good, right? So now we're gonna go ahead and start the eyeballs. Now, I have let the primer on my eyes. You want to make sure you let it dry down all the way. Do a little touch test. It will be a little bit tacky to the feel depending on the primer that you're using. And to start off, we're going to go in with gray. This really is like a monochromatic black look. But to start off, to at least have something to blend the black in, I'm going to go in with a gray. Use whatever grays you have or browns. You can adapt this to kind of however you want it to look. But I want to keep it in the gray scale of things. So I'm going to go in. This is just a Laura Geller palette that I have that's got a gray kind of cool tone look to it. And I'm going to go in with this gray right here. Actually, this gray right here. I lied to you. Sorry. This one right here is the one I'm going to go in with. Use whatever gray that you have. I mean, you never need to have the eyeshadow palettes that I'm using or anyone else is using. And we're just going to take a big amount on our brush. Well, not a big amount, regular amount. And starting with the corner right here, just going to kind of pat it in place first. And then once we've got it pat, then I'm just going to kind of, with very generic, big, sweeping motions, just create a shape with it. And I'm gonna flick it out because we're doing the elongated cat look. So this is definitely one of those looks where we are going to be flicking it out. And to do that, it's literally just kind of like following. You'll feel like with your brush, you'll feel kind of the crease of your eye. And just keep building that up. We don't need like a crazy intensity. Right now, it really is just creating that like blown out. Woo! I keep on dropping stuff. I just dropped my brush. But yeah, just keep on building it up to create that blown out smoky look. Okay, now that we've got that going for us, I'm going to go in with this color right here. That really is just like a pure gray. Gray eyeshadows can be kind of hard to find, especially since warm tones are so popular. So just whatever gray you have lying around. I'm just going to go in with that and place it right over the like cool tone brown that we just went in with. One of the reasons I think it's kind of nice to go in with the brown a little bit is I tend to find I love cool tone eyeshadows. I feel like for my skin tones and everything, purples and cool tones I think actually look better just like with my natural skin tone. But it's probably because purples are harder to formulate. I don't know. This is me just speculating. But I feel like cool tone eyeshadows a lot of the times are a little bit trickier to blend. So I think going in with the brown and then going in with the gray over it is actually going to be very beneficial. Okay. Now, while I do like the shape that we have going on, and this is a shape that I would do pretty standard, one of the things I don't like, since I'm trying to recreate a look, I see how it's starting to look pointed out here. So it's kind of giving us the classic point. If you look at the character, it's like a swoop. So I'm going to try and round out that shape. Part of that is I might need to just go up and clean up the makeup right there with a makeup wipe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I really want to round out that edge. And this is where you can start to really tell the difference with like the eye shapes. For mine, I can't really bring this up high enough to swoop it down without getting onto like my mobile lid and it kind of throwing the lines off. When you've got more space to like play with up here, you can take this up higher, like here, and swoop it down. I don't really have the option to go up and swoop it down because you'll see it'll just go straight into the eye. So that's what I'm talking about with eye shape. And that's not me like making an excuse of like, I wasn't able to create it. No, I'm going to create an awesome makeup look. But the truth of the matter is that not everyone's eyes are created in the same shape. I almost said not equal, and I was like, saying not equal totally defeats the purpose of what I was saying. But right now, you can see I'm just building this up and making it less of a point, and I'm just working on really rounding out that shape. And I am just going to take this pretty much all the way up into my eyebrow. And since we are using grays and blacks, just take your time with it. Ooh, you can already see it's like a facelift. Now that I've taken it up on this side, if you look at both my eyes, it's like, and this is like, this is like, this is like, they both give a lifting effect, but it's different. What was I saying? Oh yeah, going in with the grays and everything will make it a lot easier actually when we then go in with our black. And you do want to try and keep it at least at somewhat of a diagonal, so that we do get that lifted effect. Okay, am liking how that is looking. That is giving more of the vibe, more of the look. Okay, so we are plucking right along. Now, you will notice I am trying to keep this area somewhat clean. This isn't like it's precise, but also not precise in the same way, for I'm not doing like a crazy cut, clean lid space. But I am making an effort to not just get eyeshadow all over the lid. I just wanted to point that out. It's because I feel like all the times now with cut creases, like, don't matter where you put the eyeshadow, you'll just cover it. And I'm like, not that kind of look. It does matter where you put the eyeshadow. But anyways, now that I've said that, we are going to start going in with our black. And this is where things can go really well or horribly wrong. So we're just going to go for it. Because black is like, once you put just a little too much in, it's a downward spiral. And today the black I'm going to use is just the black from, this is an OG palette. This is the Lorac Pro palette. I love Lorac eyeshadows. I haven't used this palette in such a long time. But I feel this is just like look at this color schematic. This is just like it's just good. But yeah. Anyways, so I'm just going to go in with the black from this palette. Make sure to tap your brush off, go in with a small amount, build it up. And I'm going to start off going in right here on the lash line and just follow the arc we've created. Remember, we're not going for a very angular, it's an angular look, but it's an angular rounded look. So we're not going to just do like straight lines. We're going to really want to keep that like curvature that we've got going. And to apply the black, I am using stippling motions. That's how I think you're going to get the best payoff, just the best overall. That's just the best way I think to do it. So that's what we're doing. Because I feel like if you start to blend something like this, just like go in blending automatically, one, I think your black is going to get like out of control really freaking quickly on you. And also two, it's just like can get patchier. I don't know, it's just, it won't do you any favors. And now that I've got like the black kind of placed, I'm going in without extra product on the brush and just very gently buffing it into the gray. And this is where you'll really see that having I dropped another brush. This is when you'll really see though how having the gray base that we have set down is really going to help blend out the black into it. And I am putting a lot more black in this area. I haven't really put any black here yet because this is going to intensify that like cat-like elongating effect on the eye. And just keep doing this until it looks how you want. This is when, you know, just have a little patience with it. Just keep on working with it until you get it to look exactly how you want. And then once I've got that part in, I am going to blend a little bit of black just ever so lightly. And I'm using like not the top part of the brush, like the edge of it right here, to give a little bit more of a precise application. I'm just ever so gently kind of putting that there. You'll see that kind of opens the eye up more. Okay, so I'm pretty happy right now with how the black looks. You'll see I have still maintained like an empty C shape kind of here. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the black on the other eye really quickly. But, so, she just has awesome makeup throughout the whole series. This is the general shape she does, and then her makeup gets played around with. Sometimes this will be like a very sharp, thin, not super thin, but thinner line that's very distinct. One time she had like blue on the lid that blended into this. But overall, this is the general shape, and I'm happy with it, so... I think we may add like a matte white in the center to make it more dramatic, but I think, yeah, I think I'll finish the other eye and then we'll see where we want to go with it. And then I'm going to go back in just to kind of soften up with the first gray that we went, or not the first gray, but like this gray. And I'm just going to take that around the black edges and really buff it in. And really just circle it out even more. Because I really want it to have that, like, circular effect. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Now we've got our blacks laid down. Just to kind of clean it up and add a little pop. I do want to keep this matte. So I'm just going to go in with this white color right here from my Lorac palette. I feel like... for the most part, the makeup in the show is just very matte, except for maybe like the lipstick. There's nothing super glossy though. It's like either matte or like natural. I love the makeup in the show. But anyways, I'm just going on with a flat brush, and I am just pressing this. I'm going to follow my lid into this like little U we've created. And just to reiterate, kind of like what I've been saying for the whole video, I'm not trying to like do a dramatic cutout eye. I'm just adding brightness back into the eye, if that makes sense. I am going to take this a little bit higher up in here just to continue kind of opening up the eye a little bit more. And this is our eye look. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Now you can go ahead add eyeliner if you want to. I don't think I'm going to. What I will do though is I will go in with a small little brush like this. Sorry you couldn't see that like that. And I'll go into the black eyeshadow and I will press it into the lash line. Just because when we went in with like the first brush we went in, it couldn't get close to the lash line. And since I'm not doing a liner, I'm just going to push black eyeshadow so that there's not a gap between the black eyeshadow we have down in our lash line. And it also, too, will clean up the transition where the black eyeshadow takes off. Instead of it being, like, gappy, it's now, like, smooth. I had to pull my hair back, so I got my little rose headband on. Face is already primed. I like to do priming my face as, like, the first step. Just because I feel like it helps with everything. And I'm just going to go in. This is the Makeup Revolution foundation stick. I think the lightness is a good match for me, but I do think this foundation has too much pink in it. If you're fair, that's a common problem. So has anyone else though, like, I'm like, makeup talk, see, too much pink. But has anybody else watched the show? I held off on watching it for a while because my friend wanted to watch it, so she came over last night and we did like a little sit down, watch some witchy goodness. But then like after we watched the first episode, they went home because it was getting late. And I didn't have work today, hence why I'm able to film a video. And I literally sat down in my bed and watched a lot. It was rude. Netflix kept on taking me back to my homepage trying to tell me that I'd watched too much. It's so good though. It's just really, really good. It's kind of creepy. Some of the episodes actually scared me, which was then one of the reasons I like couldn't go to sleep, because then I was getting scared, so then I was staying up and then watching more, and it's an evil cycle, but like a good evil cycle. And yeah, so if anyone else has watched it, let me know. If you haven't watched it, would highly recommend. I don't like horror movies. As a general rule of thumb, I am a big no-no to pop-up scares. We don't get along. But I love dark atmospheric things. So there are one or two episodes where there's some pop-up stuff in it where I was like, yeah, scary. but for the most part, it's been great. So even if you don't normally like pop-up horror scary stuff, I would recommend it. But if you don't like, it has a sense of humor to it, but it definitely has like a dark sense of humor, which I love, absolutely love. But you gotta like that kind of thing to like it. And then what we can do as well, I'm not putting any more foundation on, but I am going to go along the edge of our eyeshadow and I am going to just buff kind of the foundation into the eyeshadow just a tiny bit more to even increase that circle shape more because I really want that circle shape. Now we are going to go in with makeup. It's Makeup Revolution Face Day apparently. Going in with the concealer in C1. This is the lighter one. And since we're doing more of a spooky light look, I'm gonna be contouring my face today. I don't always do that, but for a look like this where it's so chiseled, you can bet I'm gonna do the best I can to highlight under the eyes and chisel out my cheeks. And I am actually going to clean up under my eye a lot with this. The characters, and I'm going to actually take the flat edge of my sponge. Everyone does different things. Since I do my face makeup after my eye makeup, I will use my face makeup to clean up my eyeshadow and help create the shape with a dramatic look like this in particular that I want. Obviously, if you do your face makeup before you do your eye makeup, this doesn't work. But I'm really going to clean up under my eye right now. The character Prudence, even though the top part of her eye makeup is always very, very dramatic and intense, she does always maintain like a very clean underline. So it's like all the drama and like shape creating is on the top part of her eye. So we're definitely going to be using the concealer like I am right now, cleaning up under the eye and even creating more of a cat eye shape. I just did like a tiny little contour off camera where I just drew in with the line right here and then blended it. I did a little contour on my jaw, but then blended out so you can't even really like see a difference with it. So you don't even, do your regular contour that you do, or just now that the face is down though, we are going to go ahead and set it. I'm going to go in with the Laura Mercier setting powder. Just a good matte setting powder for a look like this. It really is just matte. I'll go in with a subtle highlight to like bring my cheekbones out, but we're keeping things pretty matte today. And now that the face is set, I am just going to go ahead and do my eyebrows really quickly. I'm not going to do anything crazy for them. I'm just going to give them a little bit of shape. A thinner eyebrow I think actually looks a bit nicer with this look, but I'm not going to pluck my eyebrows just to get a look. So if you have a thinner eyebrow, I would keep it kind of a little bit more on the straight end of things and not have it as full towards like the arch in particular. It'll really give you more of a dramatic look to keep just like a thinner, nice shaped eyebrow. So I'm not really going to do anything with mine. If anything, I'm just going to brush the hairs up and see what lift I can get out of my eyebrow. I'm going to pull it away. That's right. Fake the lid space. There we go. Gives me a little bit more of a sinister look. Not. For blush, I'm going to be going in with the Romantic Rose by Milani. I like this. It's not too peachy. It doesn't have a sheen in it. It's just kind of a neutral, more cool toned. And I am going to put it on the apples of the cheeks, just stippling it in. And I'm just going to gradually build it up and kind of diffuse it. I feel like her cheeks are pretty well defined. I love a good strong blush too. Like, blush is awesome. Blush just like can totally transform a look, I think. So once I place it, I'm really just going to go in, not with any extra product on the brush, but I am going to diffuse the blush out to give it more of a natural look. I feel like when you're doing a dramatic look, this kind of blush still keeps it dramatic, but it makes you look a little less dead, especially if you're using like cool tones. Then I'm just going to go back in with my powder brush, lighten that up a little bit overall. And then I'm going to go back in with a blush and just put it in more concentrated areas, like right here. Okay, so now that we've got like our face done and everything, for the most part, we're just going to go in with highlighter. Going in, this is a cool toned one, and it is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. I'm going to mix all the colors together, and I'm going to use the side of the brush, not the like top part of the brush. I'm just going to swirl, tap off the extra because I don't want an intense highlight. I just want to give my cheeks a little love. That's really all I'm going to put on them. And then I'm going to take my sponge and just very lightly pounce that on top of that to really melt that powder into the rest of what I've got going on my face. Just going to throw on some mascara. Going in with what I always go in with, the Too Faced Better Than Sex. And then I'm not going to be putting any eyeshadow in the lower lash line. We're going to be keeping it very just like clean and open. What I am going to do though is I didn't do like tight line or waterline or anything. I am going to tight line the upper part though just to add some definition back in. I think the look, it would just kind of help connect the mascara we just put on with the eyeshadow. So just go in with your favorite black eyeliner. This is the Shiseido one. And now all we have to do are the lips. Okay, so lipstick is on, and I confess, not my favorite lipstick application that I've ever done. The color was a little patchy too, so I kind of had to fiddle with it a little bit. So I like the color. Formula is not my favorite, and a lot of the times I like their formula, but dark colors are hard to do, so you know, not everything's going to be amazing. But overall, I am very happy with how this look came out. It's obviously loosely inspired by the makeup look that Prudence wears. Maybe I'll like try and do more of like an exact recreation. But anyways, I hope that you liked this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, I would love it if you hit the subscribe button down to below, and to see you in the next video. Let me know if you've watched it, if you're going to watch it, or what you think about Sabrina. But yeah, have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are, and mwah, goodbye!